This is the podcast that we ask our guests from in front and behind the camera, how did they get their foot in the door? What was the key to unlocking their success? What's their story?
Our guest today is a Spanish actress who got her big break with Sex and Lucia, broke into Hollywood with Spanglish opposite Adam Sandler, and became an international star. We chat about why you should have less pressure and more passion in life, the ups and downs of being European in Hollywood, and writing her directorial debut feature film, Rita. Our guest today is actress and now writer-director Paz Vega.
What was the moment when you were a kid, or a moment when you decided, oh, I want to be an actress? What was that moment?
Yeah, it was. I wasn't a kid, an actress as a kid. I wasn't. I was a swimmer. I did a lot of sport when I was a kid, and I was happy in my school. I never thought that being an actor could be a job, because in my family, nobody's working in the industry. So one day, and I went to a theater. I was 16 years old, and I went to see I went to see a play, and that moment I realized that, okay, this is exactly what I want to do in my life. I want to feel what the woman. It was a play, all women in the play, and I say, I want to be like them. I want to be like her. I want to feel that. I want to. I don't know. It was, for me, it was like a discovery, and it was like a revelation, kind of like a revelation. That moment, I said, wow, this is exactly what I want to be in my life. But I didn't know how. I was in Sevilla. I was very young. I mean, I was 16 years old, and I went to a group of theater, like a young group of theater, and I say, okay, I want to be with you guys, and I'm here. I don't have any experience. But I know in my heart that I want to be an actress, and it was like that.
Oh, I love that. And that's so. How old? You were 16 at that time.
16,
Yeah.
16. It's not super young. It was like you start thinking in your future. You're starting.
Yeah. Did you? Because I mean, some of the, when I do my homework for these things, sometimes I look at the internet and I don't know how true some of these things are that I find. But I'll ask you anyway. Was journalism something? Did you study journalism originally?
Yeah.
That was going to be
actually.
your path. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I did, because when I went to my parents, I say, hey, I want to be an actress. They say, okay, if you want to be an actress, it's okay, as a hobby, as a, in your free time. But you need to have like a normal job. So I started to study journalism in Sevilla for 2 years, at the same time that I was studying theater, drama, in the institute of theater in Sevilla. So I did in the morning drama, in the afternoon journalism. It was very hard. It was 2 years. I remember those 2 years like I was exhausted every day, and I say, I cannot take this anymore. I have to choose one thing or the other thing, because it was impossible to keep with both careers. And I talked with my family, and I say, I want to try to be an actor. I want to try working in the industry. I need to leave Sevilla. I need to go to Madrid, and let me try. If I don't have lucky, if I'm not lucky with that, okay, I'll be back, and I will finish my studies or whatever. I will work in whatever normal job,
Wow.
But they at that moment they understand that I was really passionate, and it was a necessity. It's not only like oh, I want to be an actress. Like no, like I need it. And they were very generous in one moment, and they say, okay, go follow your dreams, and let's see what happens.
Wow. Well, they must be very proud. You've done very well, very well.
Yeah.
Over the years, you've done some incredible projects. And was there any, again, this is again homework that I'm not sure is correct, but your parents were kind of both performers, in a sense. Is that correct? That your dad was a bullfighter and your mum was a flamingo
My,
dancer? Is
no, my mom, no, my mom is a, no, is a housewife.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, I don't. So this is IMDb. You see, you can
no,
never trust it.
that was no, that was my sister. She's a
Yes.
flamenco dancer. My sister.
Okay.
She's a flamenco dancer and she's an artist. She sings, wow, it's beautiful. And no, and my father, yeah, my father was a bullfighter when he was young. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
But
wow. So there is a sense of showmanship there. There is a kind of a history of it in a way where were you influenced at all by your parents, by your father?
maybe, probably, I don't know. I mean, it's another thing. It's a but like you say, it's a performance. It's
Mm.
in a way. But but I don't think because when I was a kid, I never connect both things. Like
Mm.
I remember that I loved to watch movies when I was, like all the Western, like cowboys, or
Mm.
black and white, Casablanca, all
Mm.
that amazing movie in black and white. I remember that I love that, but I never thought that to do that it was a real job in my mind, and I never. My father told me that, so I don't think it was a real connection.
Mm.
Um, but I don't know. Maybe that the spirit of the performance it was it was in me, but I
Yeah.
didn't know. Maybe I don't know.
But do you have advice to, because we have a lot of actors that listen to this podcast, a lot of people that want to get into directing, people that want to get into writing a
Mm.
script. Do you have any advice for all three of those things? How do you get to where you are today? Like with the acting, what was the first step? What was something that you could kind of give as advice, and vice versa with the directing and the writing as well?
And advice is just follow your heart. I have three kids. I'm a mom of three teenagers. My oldest is going to turn 18, 15 years old, and 14 years old. I think so. What I say to them is what I could say to anyone. It's like if you have something in your mind, go for it, no matter what.
Mm.
Fight for it. If it's not for you, you will know.
Mm.
But try, because sometimes we are very, in general, no, we are thinking to be perfect, to be the perfection, to be the first, or to no. We don't need to be the first. We don't need to be perfect all the time. We don't need to write your first thing and it's gonna be the best. No, just try, and you will see. And in the process, you will learn, even about your mistakes. You will learn for sure.
Mm.
But if you have a passion, if you have a dream, you could just jump. No, okay, just jump.
Just, just, just
Just
jump, just do it.
jump. That's it. You will see after what happened. And but yes, and I what I say to my kids. Whatever you want to be, I don't just. I hope that job or that work will make you happy.
Mm.
You need to be happy in your job. You need to be excited every day that you wake up for
Mm.
whatever you do. You can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be an astronaut, or you can be whatever you want to be. But you need to be happy every day, because sometimes when you have to wake up at 5 in the morning every day, you need to be happy with your job. So try. I mean, I know that this is the best thing, and especially in an art point. If we talk about artists, you want to be a painter, you want to be a musician, you
Mm.
want to write books. Just do it, and let's see what happens later. And life is long. It's not
Mm.
so. It's long, and so you have time to change if something is not good or whatever. But if you have that first impulse, or your first thought, that is correct. That first thought, that's for first. I don't know how to say, like a glimpse of something is correct. I think it's correct. So I don't know.
It's a marathon and not a sprint. So it's, it's you've got time, you've got to put effort in. It's that thing, isn't it? That people are always, as you say, in a rush to get
Mhm.
somewhere. And if they can't get there like that, then they
The
give up.
the frustration coming up. And no, this is timing. This is timing. It's not easy. I got my first. I felt secure and I felt confident to sit down in front of the white paper. I mean, in front of my iPad, and I said, okay, I'm gonna write this. And I was 40, more than 40 years old. I mean, so you need time sometimes to get some things. You need time to get some goals in your life sometimes, but you need to do the first step. And the first step maybe is little, but do it. And maybe the second one will be a little bigger. So, step by step.
It's very impressive that you've managed to have a whole acting career, but then you've also gone, I'm going to write a script while you have 3 kids and all those things. It's like pretty amazing that you found the time to do it. And it's turned out so well. You must be very proud of the finished product, because it's been critically acclaimed. It's done really well at the, going off and doing the festivals and things like that. It must be nice to be here now and think we got there, and you must be so pleased with the end product.
What I'm so pleased is about the reaction of the audience, because it's really beautiful when you are in a theater and the movie finished and people are touched about the story in many ways. And when somebody get to you, I say, and hug you, I say, thank you very much for doing this, because they relate with the story in a very deep sense, and that is the most beautiful thing, because this is the real thing. I mean, the critic is fantastic when the critics say that, but sometimes critics and public, it doesn't match. To me, the real pulse is the audience, the people that watch the movie and get touched by the story, by the characters, by the period of the time, because it's beautiful. My movie is it was shot in Seville, and in a very particular and very local place in a specific time. But it's beautiful when you see people from all around the world that they doesn't speak any Spanish or whatever, and the people get touched for the story, and that is beautiful, because something very local became a universal thing, and I say, oh my God, this is beautiful, and I'm pleased, and I'm glad to get to that point.
Now for a quick break. We'll be back to the episode shortly. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support us, get early access and exclusive content and episodes, click to join our YouTube channel and become a member now.
Please leave us a positive rating. Add us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Life in Film Pod. Essentially, please like and subscribe everything. It makes a huge difference. Thank you.
This podcast is sponsored by Betterhelp. Do you work in the film industry? Are you freelance? Or perhaps you have a 9-to-5? No matter what you do, mental health affects us all. I struggled early on in my career with the uncertainty of if and when I would ever work again, struggling to pay my bills, or simply with anxiety. Don't know about you, but being an actor, it's very important for me to maintain structure in the downtimes, and I found not only exercise, but talking to someone for me was a game changer. And so Life in Film has partnered with Betterhelp to provide you with access to the largest online therapy service in the world. And it can all be done from the comfort of your own home, from a phone, tablet or laptop. No commute, cutting down travel costs, and most importantly, it's affordable. With over 1,000 therapists in the UK, Betterhelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a wide variety of expertise in mental health. If you need someone to talk to and you're thinking of giving therapy a go, BetterHelp is a great option. And being a listener of the podcast, you get 10% off. That's 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/lifeinfilm. That's betterhelp.com/life-and-film.
And back to the show.
Mami, ¿sabes que tenía un sueño muy bonito?
¿Ah, sí?
¿Quieres que te lo cuente?
Claro.
Estaba en un jardín donde había muchos árboles.
Buenos días, mi princesa.
Congratulations on your directorial debut. I mean, this is I absolutely loved it, and it feels, well, I don't know, we'll find out, but it felt like a very personal film. You've obviously written it and you've directed it and you're in it and you've produced it. How did this come about? Where did this idea come from? I mean, like, you grew up where this is set. Is there any sort of, is that where you drew your inspiration?
I mean, the idea of direct something, it came to me many years ago, but I needed to find the correct story to do something. So around, yeah, like 7-8 years ago, I say I want to talk about this, about domestic violence, about gender violence, but through another point of view. And that's why I start to write. I one day I say, okay, now is the moment. I need to put all this idea that it was something very, just an idea, no? And you need to put it down. And that was I think was the most difficult part, but because in the whole process for me, writing is the most complicated part, and I think I find like difficult, but yeah, in one day I got my script, and I got someone that they really want to read my script. So that was the beginning of the process, and it was like around 7 years ago.
Wow. So it just shows you how long it can take, from paper to the screen. It can take a long amount of time. You mentioned there that, this isn't from the typical point of view. And I love that about this, the fact that, even the way it's shot is kind of from the kids' level, and you don't necessarily see the adults all the time. It's kind of from lower down, like when they're in the back of the car, it's kind of from the back of the head. And I just love that, because it really kind of, it takes you back to being that age, and being small, and seeing things from that perspective. Was that always the idea? Was that always the idea to do it from that perspective?
Yes, it was even in the script. Sometimes I describe some moments, and I always say, okay, the camera will be down. We'll see only half body of the adult, or and it was one of the most important thing. It like, I didn't want to do a movie like a horror movie, like because what you see in the movie is it's very hard. It's really difficult to assume all what is that is happening in the screen. So I always wanted to do like a tell story, like something very beautiful and gentle and nice, because I think the story is hard enough. And I don't want to see the violence. I don't want to see the adult. This is not a story about a couple. It's not a story about marriage. It's not about that. It's a movie about how kids absorb everything around them in their little universe, and how they escape through the imagination sometimes. And in that point, you can connect, even if you never had that problem, like a father violent or whatever. You can connect when you were a kid and you were in a room and the adults talk, and you're trying to pick something. You understand things. There is so many things that you don't know, but you feel it. No, if that is what I wanted to explore in Rita.
Mm. It's a really clever, yeah, it's a really clever way to do it. And I would say it reminds me of my childhood, but not the negative side of it, obviously, but the way you've done it, it really does feel like that, you're hearing bits and pieces from what the adults are saying. And as you say, trying to understand and understanding some of it and not all of it. But the way it was shot as well, I love that it, it's set in the 80s, but the way you shot it, 6:4, it's not
Mm.
widescreen. It feels of that time. It really has a warmth to it as well. Was it shot on film or was it digital?
No, it was a digital, but the
Yeah.
look looks very
Mm,
film. The atmosphere and the grainy, little grainy, and the light. The lighting, it was very important to create that atmosphere.
mm.
Heavy inside the house, no? You feel that is something
Yeah.
heavy inside the house and more light outside, and um, and um, and yes, the camera. I just say, yeah, it was. I wanted to keep your eyes as an audience with the kids. I don't want to see you. I don't want to distract you with more info, with more information. Just I wanted to go with them. So that's why also the format, it was like very, it was that one, because I wanted to just go with the kids and be with them and see what they see, but you don't see it, you just feel it. Also, I think the movie, to me, was very important, the sound mixing,
Mm.
because you need to create everything, all that, all the things that you cannot see, you need to feel it in your, through the sound. So the sound mixing also was very, it was something very important in this movie.
Mm. It must be really rewarding as an actress as well to be able to be the other side of the camera and have, I mean, the performances in this are amazing, and it always, whenever you see a film and if it's got a young child and they're not quite believable, it can take you out of it. But before, this just felt real. These
Mm.
kids were these kids and they were doing what they were doing. How do you get a performance out of a younger actress or an actor like that?
I think it helps the fact that I'm an actress as well. So I know what to ask to get what I want. Um, and um, and for the kids, the work is different. I mean, when if I'm directing an adult, an actor, it's different. The kids, it's more about living the moment. They don't need to know about the script. In my case, I prefer them not to know about the script, not to know. So every day is like, okay, today, this is what is happening. You're here, you're playing, so it's more, so they don't have in their mind
Mm,
the whole picture, because for them it's very hard to understand
mm.
the plot of this story.
Yeah.
It was very specific. We work to try to be natural,
Mm,
unbelievable, and we work a lot in the lines. Sometimes in the lines, sometimes the kids, they don't sound natural because it's kind of like they sing a little bit, with the voices. And for me, it was important to show them that they have to, all the energy, set it down, be the energy low, no high energy. So the energy is very important because it could be tricky, and it could be sometimes it could work in the opposite way
mm.
of the story. And they understand. They are both of them. They were very young. They're 7 years old and 6 year old.
Yeah.
And for him, for Lolo, for Alejandro Escamilla, was his first uh, movie project. He was the first time that he was in front of the camera.
Mm,
For her was different. Sofia Yepuz he had more experience. He
mm,
did a short movie. She did some TV commercials before, so she had more experience. and you feel that. You feel that the way that she was on set and everything was very like super professional. It was really beautiful to work with both.
Wow. Do you have to, as you say, it's quite spur of the moment and you do it as it comes and they don't necessarily know what's coming later on. Do you put marks down for them, or is it less structured than that? How do you the technicalities of it, I guess, like if you need to obviously get someone in focus, they need to hit a mark, but when they're that young, is there a way round that getting around
No,
that?
the thing was there is like a two moments with the kids before to shoot, before starting shooting. We work with them. We worked a lot with them. We've been like a month and a half
Oh wow.
working in their relationship, working in some scenes there you need to do something specific, like okay, so it was very prepared. It's not like an improvisation or something, improv. No, it was, everything was set very we work a lot, but my idea on set is like they didn't have to know what is happening before or what is happening after. Just live the moment, and this moment you feel sad because you are listening something about your mom, or you feel happy because you are playing with your brother, and you don't need to feel that in the scene before you were crying for something or whatever. So it's another way. I mean, the way that I approach to that work, it was very also intuitive. I don't know about it. It's the first time that I direct, and it's the first time that I direct kids, but I felt that way worked for me.
What was the first day on set like? Obviously you're so used to being an actress on set, doing your lines and everything else, but to go on set and suddenly be like, oh, I'm in charge here, I'm directing it, and also it's not only that, it's your script. So is that a lot of pressure on day one?
I don't want to talk about pressure. I don't like. It's not about pressure. It's about being living a dream. For me, it was I worked many years to get to that point, to the first day of shooting, to say action, and that it was like, oh my God, this is real. This is happening finally, and I was so excited. I felt so happy every day on set, and very lucky to get to that point. Like, and pressure, of course, you have to deal with so many people, so many questions every day, so many things around. But I love that. I think my experience as an actress, working in many different countries and working with different directors and different stories, and helped me to get this, to manage how to be on set and with a team and with the rhythms of every day, with all the problems that you have to solve in seconds, in minutes. It's crazy, but I love that feeling. I really enjoyed doing that.
I love that. Not pressure, but more passion. That makes sense. Yeah, I love that.
Most embarrassing moments, yeah.
I have many, many in general, because I did so many audience, so many casting. I mean, like you have to go to your tape, and you have to read your lines, and in front of maybe someone that they don't even look at you. They don't even is looking at you, and just reading the paper, and you have to feel like whatever, and the people in front of you like, okay, doing your lines. Sometimes this is so unfair. I mean, to me, casting, the process of the casting is really unfair. And I in my entire career, I was always so upset with that, to do that. And because they say, you never get the point. You never really get the point when you are doing just, they give you maybe just 1 page, 2 pages. You don't know the entire story. You don't know anything about the script, and you have to deliver something great. And that is to me, I think it's impossible. I mean, it's just very hard. Um, um, but I have a very, 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 very bad situation, but there is an actor that is involved, and I don't want to say the name, but so I got the treatment that I got. It was really awful and horrible, and they and it was really hard. It was a casting in New York for a big thing. They called me, and I was in Madrid. I remember no, I was in Los Angeles, I think. I was living in LA, and they flew me to New York to do the the audience, the audition with this big name. and when I arrived, I did my thing as I could, and he was so upset. Why you bring this
Oh wow,
kid
really?
actress or with this horrible accent? And I was like, this is my accent. I didn't ask to come here. You need a Latin woman, you need a Latin actress. You called me, I came. It's not. And I tried to do my best, but I remember that I went out of the room crying. I say, oh my God, it was so rude. That happened.
those because I'm an actor myself, and we've all gone through like those horrendous auditions. But I mean, hats off to you, because you've done some massive films, and you're not even speaking your first language. You're speaking English, which for me, if I had to go and do another language, my brain would explode. I don't know how you do that, but yeah.
I mean, when I work, I do a specific work with the lines, with the accent, with everything. I work with my Dali coach, which is so my English is better, no? than now when I'm speaking normally. But that was like it's like I can, that I'm not an American girl on an English speaker. I'm a Spanish that I speak English, and I have an accent, and you have to know that if you want me, if you want to see me. And so that was a bad experience. So, and I don't recommend to anyone, because it's really, sometimes they can hurt your feelings and your confidence if this is happening frequently. So.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Well, you got through it, and here you are now, and you're doing so well. So congratulations again on the film. And it's been a real pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Elliot. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
All the
thank
best.
you for your timing. Thank you.
Yeah, good luck with the movie. And I'm looking forward to seeing it on the big screen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye. You too. Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode and want to support us, get early access and exclusive content and episodes, click to join our YouTube channel and become a member now. Thank you to our guest Paz, and thank you to Daisy and the team at Signature Entertainment. As always, thank you to our sponsor, Betterhelp.